Shalom, everybody. This is Rabbi Dr. Stuart Dowerman at Interfaithfulness, where we're building bridges where history builds walls. And we've been building a bridge here over the troubled COVID-19 waters. We've been trying to build a bridge of community for you and for all of us. And we've been doing that by introducing you to Shulchan Shalana, which is a weekly study guide, actually a discussion guide. It's not so much study, it's for discussion. It's very horizontal. A discussion guide that you can use at your table with your family, with your friends, and you can even use on the internet with family and friends in order to connect with one another through connecting with the Torah passage, the Haftorah passage, the New Covenant reading, connecting with articles about Jewish life and about relationship with God that are related to those readings every week. We send that out to people who subscribe, and it enables us to connect so that we're all sitting around the same table. Shulchan Shalanu, our table. And I want to continue with what we were doing recently. Let me show you a little title for this, a little fancy, schmancy title. Let's see if we can find it. Yes. A bridge. I want to talk about a bridge over troubling COVID-19. I want to talk about the presence, Presents, of the Spirit. Last time we talked about the presence, Presence, the presence of the Spirit. We talked about 5 ways the Spirit is present. This time, let's talk about the gifts of the Spirit, the presence of the Spirit. And I'm going to be doing that, again, by looking at Shulchan Shalanu. So come with me as we go to the very end of Shulchan Shalanu for this week, which is an advice column, which we call Dear Rabbi. Dear Rabbi is our advice column, and here's a letter from somebody called Louis. And Louis is writing us with a problem. Here's what Louis says, and here, let me create some room for us here. Here is what Louis has to say to us. I have been a Yeshua believer for about 4 years, he says. In my congregation and among my friends, once in a while I hear people talking about their spiritual gifts, and that always makes me feel funny. Actually, sometimes I feel sad because I don't think I have any. Do you have any words of comfort or advice for me? So how would we answer? Louis, let's take a look at that. Dear Louis, I have lots of good news for you, and I'm so glad you wrote. The first bit of good news is this. As a Yeshua believer, you for sure have some spiritual gifts. God plays no favorites, and he gives such gifts to all his children. But how might you find out what yours are? That's my second bit of good news. I have some suggestions for how to find out. So now I'm going to share with Louis 3 ways in which we can discover what our spiritual gifts might be. And if you are a Yeshua believer, for sure you have them, because God doesn't leave any of his children out in the cold. So let's take a look at these 3 ways. In general, spiritual gifts are given to us to enable us to build up the community of believers, to serve them, to comfort them, to increase their numbers, to exhort them, to bring blessings of word, blessings of love, even of power to them. So the first thing you should do, perhaps in consultation with your friends, is to answer this question. What are the things that I do among the people of God that consistently seem to benefit others? Discovering what these things are will lead you to identifying your areas of spiritual gifting. Think about it. When consultation with friends, what are the things that you do that people come to you and say, you know, you really helped us when you did that. I really appreciated when you did this. Or, gee, you really saved our necks when you did this. Whatever it is that people recognize as being a benefit to them could very well be your spiritual gifts. I knew of a woman about 50 years ago in a church, actually, in the Midwest, in St. Louis, who felt badly because her husband was a teaching elder at this fellowship, and a lot of people there had conspicuous spiritual gifts, and she felt she had none. But This was a woman who, if somebody had called that church and said, look, we'd like to visit you. Today's Friday. We'll be there on Sunday. There's about 45 of us on a Greyhound bus. Well, this lady would be able to whip up a meal and an event for these people that would make them feel totally at home and totally welcome. She would do it without a complaint, without working up a sweat. It was a joy for her to do it. She had a gift of hospitality. She just didn't realize it. But that gift was of great benefit to the people of God. So what do you do? What do you do that is of great benefit to the people of God? The second way that we find out about our spiritual gifts. Follow me. Also, when a person has a certain spiritual gift, they will often tend to attach themselves to others who have the same gift. Leadership professor Bobby Clinton calls this the like attracts like pattern. So, what sort of leaders or spiritual people tend to attract you? This can well be an indication that your spiritual gifts are like theirs, even if yours are underdeveloped as yet. What do you resonate with? Do you resonate with teachers? Do you resonate with people who are very good at winning a hearing for the good news, evangelists? Do you resonate with people who pray for people who are sick? What is it that you have a sympathetic vibration with this? Chances are that this could be an indication of your area of spiritual giftedness, even if it's not yet fully developed. What do you resonate with? Like attracts like. Let's look at the third reason that the third way you can discover your spiritual gifts. Finally, Professor Clinton speaks of the giftedness drift pattern. This names the tendency to drift towards those responsibilities or activities that match your spiritual gifts. What kinds of responsibilities and activities are magnetized to you? This can be a point to the gifts you have. Are you the first person there when there's a chance to go out and share the good news? Are you quick to be there when they're going out to do some social service action for suffering people? Are you the person who, when they need somebody to teach a class, your hand is the first one up in the air? Are you the person who stays awake all night preparing a lesson because you just got to do well? Well, you might have a gift of teaching in that case. You might have a gift of evangelism in another one of those cases. You might have a healing gift in another case. What kinds of responsibilities and opportunities are you magnetized to? That can be an indication of your spiritual gifts. So, this is just another part of Shulchan Shalano. I will share the rest of this week's Shulchan Shalano with you tomorrow, as I promised to do. But also, someone told me that they wanted to know how to receive Shulchan Shalano. So let's see. Here is how you can subscribe. Here is how you can subscribe to Shulchan Shalano. Just go www.interfaithfulness.org/the-well. www.interfaithfulness.org/the-well. And you can receive Shulchan Shalano every week in your email, and you can use it with your family and build bridges between family members and with friends, and build bridges between all of us and the wisdom of God as we investigate it every week. So I just want to say shalom for now from Interfaithfulness, where we're building bridges, where history builds walls. See you tomorrow. Shabbat shalom.